Tyler, you've been using this feature, what, 4 weeks, something like that? I can't
That
remember.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
It sounds about right. About 4 weeks. Yeah.
So walk me through the difference it's had for your team from versus when they were just doing click to call for all their actions versus now using smrtDialer. And maybe start off with how many people you have using it and kind of what their day-to-day jobs are inside of your team.
So I've got 3 lead managers, and those are the people that primarily use smrtDialer. And then I have 2 acquisition reps and myself, and that's our team. So here's what we were doing is obviously like you log into InvestorFuse, and on your list of actions, you can have some call new leads, you can have some follow up with sellers, appointments, right? And then you have all these like call attempts. Call attempts are what our team calls working leads, which are people that have raised their hand at some point, said, I have a property that I'm interested in selling. Like they have some level of interest, but our lead managers haven't gotten them on the phone yet and truly qualified them. What we found with our team is that number was growing and growing and growing. So like we have thousands and thousands of leads in our CRM, thousands. And so the working leads number keeps on climbing. Like we're up to like, I don't know, probably almost 500 working leads now, give and take. So what we were doing, and this took a ton of time, is we would click to call, right? And then we would manually choose when we wanted to follow up with this person that's never answering the phone. So we would give from call tip 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, all the way over, and then like restart the cycle. And that was taking so much time for these people that like aren't answering the phone. Yeah. So, and then we got like the smrtDialer integrator. So then what we did was we took all of these call attempts and we set it out for like way in the future, like 2 to 3 months in the future. And what my lead managers would do is every single day at the beginning of their shift, they would export all of their call attempts, upload it into smrtDialer. Yeah, we tried every single here. So we would export all those, put them into smrtDialer, and then if they got a hold of somebody, they would go back and manually update the lead. And if they didn't get a hold of somebody, it was fine until we reached this giant bucket of call attempts, like, you know, later on down the road. So that was a challenge. So then we got the call results, right? Now what it looks like is when my lead managers log in, it's kind of overwhelming. Like they'll have like maybe 200 actions due in a day. But what they can do now is like, okay, we need to start with our hot leads. So let's filter for hot. Boom. Knock out all our hot stuff. We know what to do. Okay, great. What's next? Let's take a look at our warm ones. Take a look at the warm follow-ups, knock out all the warm follow-ups. And then we're just left with cold follow-ups and the working leads, as we call them. That's when we sync it to the smrtDialer and it moves it for us. So we get to, you know, if we have roughly 500 working leads, give or take, and we were manually moving all of those consistently, now we get to completely skip that step. So that saved, if you take 500 multiple, you figure like to manually move it probably takes about 30 seconds, give or take. 500 times 30 seconds times 5 days a week, you know, times 4 for a month, like it adds up, right? So we saved hours and hours and hours of work for us.
That's awesome. That's really exciting. Were you guys able to increase your call volume? Like, are you contemplating bringing in more leads into the cycle, or is there just more time for them to focus on the warm and hot?
All of the above. Yeah, I know it. So we were only getting somewhere between like 60 and 8 manual follow-ups back before smrtDialer. Now we're averaging 300 calls per lead manager daily. And that's just in like, they probably do that like 4 hours a day. Then they spend the rest of their time doing other stuff. So we increased the call volume drastically, and that allowed me we literally doubled our marketing output. So what we were doing with our current team enabled us to double, like I literally doubled what we were doing for marketing, and they're still able to handle that current workload plus more. So like they do lead management stuff for like on average 4 to 6 hours a day, give or take. And then they have another 2 to 4 where they go out and they prospect on certain lists and whatnot.
Nice. So you doubled your marketing because you freed up so much time to handle more leads and make sure that you were still touching them according to your process, which I know is pretty, like you're doing, like a new lead comes in, those working leads, how often are you touching them?
So now, I should have touched on that earlier, but so we were previously just hitting the working leads like once a day. Like we would call them once and that was pretty much it. Like we would text them as well. But now we're able to hit our working leads like 3 times daily, 2 to 3, at least 2 times, but sometimes 3 times daily. So like I always joke with our team, like if you raise your hand and say you have a property you're interested in selling, but then you don't like speak with us, like God bless you. Like, you're on a great journey.
You guys are certainly trying hard to get them on the phone. That's crazy. All right, 2 to 3 times. That's phenomenal. Like, what kind of results have you seen for appointments in your acquisitions guys now that you've been able to put that amount of call volume on your lead managers?
A few different metrics we can look at. I'd say the main one that really fixed the rest of it was our lead to opportunity conversion ratio. So like, again, the way that we define a lead is somebody that raises their hand, says they have a property they're interested in selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they get in our CRM, we have to then convert them from a lead into an opportunity. We used to only do that at about 60% of the time. So like, in any given week, if we had 100 leads that were generated, only 60 of those were converted into opportunities. Now we're up at like above 80%. We're like right around 80%. So it increased that by 20%, which directly impacts the rest of the funnel. So if you have more opportunities, it naturally means you're going to have more appointments, more contracts, and more deals, right?
Yep.
So what we did is we saw the 20% increase in the top of the funnel from leads to opportunities. And then we saw it was probably about a 40% increase in, no, it was more than 40%. So we were averaging prior to this, we were averaging it was like 8 appointments a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just over 1 per day. So about 8 appointments a week. Now we're averaging 21.
Woo!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so a lot more than 40%.
Oh man, that's incredible. I love it.